this is my 4th year, and I can say I did grow a lot through these last 3.5 years that I've been at Veritas. One thing is my confidence. When I first came, I was very timid and shy. I couldn't really speak up, but at Veritas, they really emphasize a lot of public speaking in front of an audience, and that really built up my confidence to be able to speak clearly and to speak more loudly. And I think I also grew in my reading comprehension. Yeah, because there are some difficult works you have to read, like Dante's Inferno or Chesterton or C.S. Lewis. Yeah, and I think practicing reading all those different works by different people, it helped me to, I guess, widen my vocabulary, and even that seems to help with that.
This is my 2nd year at Veritas, and even though it's only been technically like 2 years now, and I feel like I've grown in my public speaking skills because we didn't have this much intensive practice with thesis and also with mock trial in public school. So I think the public speaking as well as reading comprehension, since we read so many classical works, and that it just ends up being more difficult to read than the more books we read in public school.
I think one thing is I really like that they don't just give you a bunch of information and you're expected to regurgitate it out on like a test and then you just forget about it later. So I like that classical education where it really teaches you how to think about things and why what you learn is important. Because if you didn't learn that, then you wouldn't really, think that it was significant. But I think in classical education is more about you're learning how to be in this state of being and how to live out better. And I think that's something that will definitely impact my life, for the rest of my life. So that's something I like about classical education.
I love that classical Christian education recognizes that the goal of education goes far beyond just job preparation. Good education should shape the character of the student, and I believe, as Augustine puts it, it should properly order our loves. And in pursuance of that goal, I also like how classical Christian education places an emphasis on strong community in addition to rigorous academics. It's not trying to kill the students, but support them and help them to grow.
One thing that I definitely love is something I mentioned previously about how it's a classical Christian style of education where I get to think critically and not just get bombarded with just mere factoids. But one thing specifically that has to do with Veritas, I would say I really love the community. It's a Christ-centered community. It's a small one, less than 100 students. But I've really come to learn how to interact with people younger and older than me, and through the Veritas community, I've come to build stronger friendships and learn how to glorify God better. That's what I love. That's what I love about Veritas.
I really like the small knit community that we have. It's definitely a lot smaller. Usually, at public school, you would have at least 300 students in your grade, but I only have 4 other people other than me in my grade. Yeah, and even though you can't really choose your friends, that's sort of a setback when you go to a lot smaller school. It helps you to be able to, I guess, interact with people, even though you may not want to. It helps you to develop the love of Christ for them and be accepting of everyone's shortcomings. And I also like that we can communicate with our teachers more comfortably. Teachers don't have 300 students, they have at least 20. And so they know their students. And so I felt a lot more comfortable talking to them and being able to communicate with them because they know me, they are kind of tracking our progress and wanting to see us grow.
Before I went to Veritas, I just went to church, was pretty, I guess, normal in a way. But I think after I came here, it made me realize Christianity is much more beautiful and complex, yet a reasonable faith. And I think it's allowed me to have a lot stronger foundation of for my faith, and that's something I'm really grateful for.
I think it gave me more reason behind why I believe in God, because previously the only thing I really knew was the thing we learned from church, and here we were able to be like philosophers who showed like their transformation of being a Christian, and I think I was able to learn personally a lot through that and defend my faith not only just through believing in faith but also for reason as well.
Veritas has just truly revealed to me that the Lordship of Christ extends to every facet of reality. I've always loved mathematics, and of course at Veritas I discover more and more how mathematics reveals the wisdom of the mind of God, especially as creator. But Veritas has also developed in me a love for the humanities, especially literature, and it's been amazing to see how even pagan literature and secular art also points to the glory of God and the truth of the gospel by revealing truths about nature and human's nature and ultimate reality and whatnot. So Christianity truly takes the truth from every worldview and just shows that its ultimate reality is found in Christ and the gospel.
One practical way I've been able to see God working is through the things that I've been learning here at Veritas. One specific class would be Great Ideas. It's a philosophy class where we learn about the great thinkers of our time through ancient history, people like Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, and we also learn newer thinkers like Descartes, Locke, Hume, Kant, all wonderful thinkers. But one way I've been able to see God working is we not only learn these things for the sake of learning, although that's obviously a purpose as well, but we are also called to practice the virtues that we learn. Like for instance, in my Great Ideas class, we were called to, we had to do a virtue vlog, where we chose a specific virtue and had to implement that virtue throughout 2 weeks and vlog our experience. And I chose the virtue of generosity, and I think that experience really helped me cultivate that virtue in my life and to see how God puts intellect into action. He helps people to actually put their thoughts into action and to practice virtue and not just keep it all in their heads.